Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to.
You know, Will, just reading him, he's had just, let's say, a lot of emotional damage, just to put it nicely. And he's always been in that place where he can't really do anything about it. So say that you're a young kid and you're looking at your mom getting slapped up. Well, you can't just jump in, because if you did, you'd get slapped up too. So it's just like you watch, say a woman that you love, or even maybe a young brother or something to that effect. Anyway, somebody that you love, you just watch it and it's like, okay, I can't do anything about it. So Will, overall, no matter what he's done, is always like he feels like he's got his hands tied behind his back, and especially for those who love. So he gets into situations to again get into love type situations where it's like, shit, I can't do anything about it. So that really frustrates him. The other aspect of it is like, well, like a lot of successful individuals, it's like, well, I'll become really famous and I'll become really successful, which is his motivator, and then I'll fix that. But then success is a magnifier, so it doesn't really work out well. But now, and again, the last few months, I don't know why, it could be, because of COVID thing and all that stuff, a lot of things, breaking apart for people internally. So there's things that are breaking apart in Will. So his reality seems to like shatter, or is shattering. So some people might go, well, that's psychological and all that. It's really not. It's about space-time and the higher, say, types of frequencies, where his identity, or how he's created this identity, is shattering, and then he has to deal with the weaknesses and insecurities that's coming forth, which is really a fantastic opportunity. But again, do you want to shove that down, or do you want to be exponentially intelligent and elevate yourself to go, God, I can finally release that? But so we'll see how exponentially intelligent Will is on how he handles the situation. Again, it's a great opportunity for Will, or any of you out there. If all your garbage is coming out, observe it, notice it, and see what you can do to remove it. And I think he's literally trying to say, wake up and stand up. It's like, okay, now's an opportunity for me to wake up. Now's an opportunity for me to like stand up. And so these are very, very, very deep level, say, patterns that have to, say, release. But at a deep level, it's like, shit, you know what? My hands aren't tied anymore. I'm not a little kid anymore. I can go do something. I'm a man. And he has a big issue, like stepping up. I know he's a great actor. I love the guy, in all his, films and, comedy routines and all that. But at a deeper level, it's like, shit, he's never been able to like stand up and be really strong and powerful. So him going, shit, I can come up and in front of the world, it's like, hey guys, look, I'm a man. So that was the underlying frequency that for him. Yeah. So Jada, which is the other component, and then this gets into, what happened in the Oscars. Jada, she runs the pattern of nothing's ever good enough. Because she's always, and it's not about the other person, but it's like she always feels really insecure. She'll always feel insecure. The more success you have, the more insecurity that you have. And then she starts to break apart. And then this is where, you might have another love interest, or whatever happens, the cohesive of the family starts to get destructive, because it's not good enough to keep her, intact. And it's not about how Will treats her or anything, and it could be, it's all part of that. But the underlying frequency dictates that nothing is ever good enough or makes her feel secure. And it's got nothing to do with relationships. It's got nothing to do with the Oscars. It's got nothing to do with her, health issues, or, how beautiful she is. She's a beautiful woman, but again, she'll always feel broken apart or incomplete.
I question if he's actually protecting her or protecting himself, because the look that she gave him just make people feel like, okay, if you don't take care of this, you're going to be in the doghouse for the next few days.
Right.
So, well, that's my feeling. He could be totally wrong, because he was really enjoying the joke. He was laughing, and she was not. And she gave him this look, and all of a sudden everything changed. And that means there's a lot of tension in the marriage. And Will Smith go on to do this, not so much to defend Jada. Maybe he is in a sense, but to do this to save his own place in marriage? Or is there so much that he has to save in his marriage? There's so much he has to show for in his marriage. So he took it out on Chris Rock. That's how I saw it.
I want to share something on the screen. There was an interesting response to this on social media by Kate Hoyle. And she goes on to write a fairly lengthy post about how Will Smith witnessed his mother, and this is a fact, and he writes about this in his book, that his mother was regularly beaten by his father. Like, this is how he grew up. And he obviously wanted to carve out a different path for himself and his family going forward. And she makes a good point here. Like, she says, whenever in her analysis is that whenever he witnesses an attack, maybe physical or verbal, on a woman that he loves, in this case, Jada, he's transported back to that emotion of the little boy desperate to defend. I think it's a really valid point. And I'd love, Mas, for you to respond to that. Is that what's happening? Is he reverting back to childhood trauma?
Yeah, so my analysis on Will Smith was accurate. I didn't know that he had, those issues, or, didn't read about it. So, yeah. So again, you're watching your mother get beat up, and it's like, you're a little kid, you can't do anything about it. But, the attack, physical attack, it does transport him back there. But again, this was a breaking point for him to go, you know what, now I can do something about it. Because in the past, and this is where I'm not giving them relationship advice, but I'm just telling them what I see in their relationship, is that, and this is why they might have an open marriage and so on, because again, it's never good enough, so it's like, well, hey, we want to stay together, but let's try all these different solutions, to figure it out so we can stay together. It never helps, because what you want to put together is yourself. You got to be complete. Will's got to be complete. Jada's got to be complete, and you'll never be complete by outside solutions. So it does transport him back to that issue. But I think the key feature is that he's really awakened now, and he has to, in the past, I think he's really been there for Jada, no matter if he has been there for Jada or not, for real. To her, it's never been there. So when he's smiling and laughing at, Chris Rock's joke, and then he looks, it's like, shit, this is another time I failed. And, my woman is getting beat up here, physically in front of millions of people. And look, I'm this powerful man and all that, and I'm not doing anything about it. So, it's showing him, or showing Jada that, look, I've got your back. And there's like, what better way to show you in front of millions of people? I'm going to go there and, show my character that I'm going to beat Chris Rock up. So there's just like, I think Chris Rock understands that there's probably marital issues there.
Right.
Intuitive, it's like, all right, okay, he's trying to get back his, relationship. So
to me, I love chivalry. I love chivalry. I love to be treated like a woman. I love to be treated like a princess, like a queen. I love to be cherished and held and protected, and all that I love. And so for my man to come protect me, I'll be so happy. But again, that situation, didn't feel to me like protecting me. He's acting out, like honoring my woman. But they are very public about their relationship dynamics. And she has publicly said many times in the past, she was very, very hurt by his many behaviors. And then she acts back in kind. So they're having a lot of marital issues. So in her experience, from my observation, she has been disrespected, in her opinion, dishonored many times by him. So right now, it's such act of chivalry in front of everyone, but what's broken is already been damaged from before. So
you make a really good point. I think most women probably do, want to be cherished and like chivalry, but that is not necessarily the expression of chivalry as much as it's the expression of a deep-seated issue that he's facing in his own life, right, Mas?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. With Jada, I think there are underlying issues with her. So she's looking at it as a victim frequency, and that's why nothing is ever good enough, because it's nothing will ever heal her. And now she actually has an issue, an actual physical issue, and it's like people are making fun of me, so now I'm even more of a victim. So Chris Rock, I mean, he just says it in a loving way. He's not, you know what I mean, and you should be, say, comfortable enough with the issue, and maybe she's not, she hasn't got there yet. That's important. But for me, if I was Jada and then my spouse was, say, laughing all this time, and then they looked at the hurt that I have, and all of a sudden they changed their tune. It's like, dude, you already missed the point. You didn't feel it in the beginning, and now that you see that I'm hurt, you changed your tune. So that's not chivalrous to me. It's like, well, wait a second. How would my woman feel this in this way? Instantly, like that, rather than, oh shit, I better react. That's
right. And that was the impression. I think that's what a lot of people are saying on social media. Is like, well, his initial reaction was to laugh along with it until she was upset. What would an XI man do in a situation like that, where his wife is being disrespected and reaction? What would an XI man do in that case?
Well, an XI man wouldn't have that type of relationship, that type of tumultuous relationship in the first place. They know their identity is really, really solid. That makes sense. So for example, Faye and I, we get together, somebody criticizes Faye, and if it's, we would literally, it's like, see it, tune it. It's like, oh, Chris Rock is making a joke, and I thought it was a pretty funny joke. And, it's actually, if you're a healthy person, that joke would go, yeah, I've got this issue, but let's laugh about it. And we can all laugh about it because we're all humans. So that's the way we would, look at it as an XI couple. But as an XI man, it depends on the level of joke. If it gets too gnarly and, what I mean, destroying her character and all that, that's not a good thing. And then I wouldn't get up and deck Chris Rock, but in the back end, afterwards, it's like, hey dude, that's disrespectful, not just only to my wife, but to women all around, those kind of jokes. So that's the way I would look at it. Or hey, if that was my wife, how would that look like? And so let's not break down, say, or that it's a very thin barrier of respect for women, by the way, because it's been waved, it's been pulled away and torn, and it's just today's society is just like, it's hanging on by a thread. We need to re-nourish that, or we'll have really severe, say, familial and societal issues if we don't resolve this.
And Faye, the same question for the XI woman, right? Should Jada have reacted differently in response to the joke that was being made of her on that stage, or from the stage?
Yeah, I think the reaction in that one moment is a build-up of many, many years of many, many layers of complexity. So that reaction, well, just look at her. She showed up at Oscar, didn't wear a wig. And she's so beautiful, with without hair. I was actually really impressed at how beautiful she looks without hair. And so she showed up having this persona of confidence, beauty, confidence. She did come out on the internet and talk about her disease, talk about her, like she wants to put rhinestone on her bald head. So it sounded like she is confident about it and she wants to exude this air of confidence. But however, when the joke was said, I can understand you might be uncomfortable, but to that degree that gives a very clear message to your husband that you're going to suffer if you don't do anything about it, and to the point that he understood the message and would not did something about it to save his marriage, to save her dignity, or save face for himself. I think to that point, that means she's not comfortable in her marriage. She's not comfortable with her appearance. Granted, no woman will be comfortable when that happened, but if she wants to show up without a wig, she wants to show that she's okay, but in fact, it's not okay. So in XI woman, if she wants to be a role model for confidence, then be a role model of confidence. Laugh over that. If you don't like it, go backstage and tell Chris Rock, that wasn't okay, I was sick. So that's how an XI woman will address it. If you're not okay, it's not okay. You don't put the whole world on the stage to punish this man, this drama, and punish this man, and for the whole world to see and laugh at him. And yeah, that's just my take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. An XI woman man type relationships, they keep that, behind closed doors,
Mhm.
and they work all that stuff out. And you can actually see how
Mhm.
connected somebody is. I mean,
Mhm.
Faye and I mean, some of you might not know that we're connected, but even if you didn't know, it's like, oh, they must be connected. You know what I mean? That kind of feel. So they know at a deeper level that each other has each other's back.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be proven. It doesn't have to be said.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly the point. It just felt like I have to get up and I've got to prove something in this moment right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you
And it's
don't
not just
need
that situation, it's this whole deal, of coming up, standing up. And I think it's a great opportunity for him to really wake up and really heal his old self, the old patterns. And that he's such a great icon. He's such a brilliant spirit. But he needs to let go of that baggage so his, brilliance can show through and really help people.
Your reaction to how Chris Rock reacted to that situation from an XI perspective.
Yeah, I think Chris Rock is more towards the XI man type frequency. It's like, you know what? I'm sure, because Chris Rock, he's very sensitive. He can read people. He's very intuitive on people. It's like shit. Will, he's having a lot of issues. I know he's maybe having a hard time. I'll take this one for the team, so to speak. And he really was, say, that strong, confident man that didn't have to prove that, hey, somebody just beat me up on national television. I have to go beat him up so I can look strong. And but no, he kept it together. He was really solid. He was, he held a higher road. It's not about not doing anything, but there are moments that you just don't need to do anything because it doesn't really benefit. And the way he carried on, damn, he did not drop the ball at all. He was just like, okay, it's like part of the show. And so his expertise on how he handles the crowd and how he handles himself, damn, that is impressive. I got to learn more of that from you, Chris. That's awesome.
Faye, what did you think of his reaction?
I think he's a class act. He owned it. He said he won't do it. And he made a joke. He carried on the show, didn't forget anything, didn't drop the ball, didn't play victim, didn't even touch his face, didn't even move. He's so solid. So yeah, I think he's a class act.
I think, being an XI man, you can show that vulnerable side of you, because you don't have to prove anything. It's like, okay, I might have messed up. He's sensitive about that. It's like, I get it, and then it's like, okay, great. Let's move on.